This is your morning brief for Monday, April 1st. The S&P 500 closes Q1 up 13.7%, which is outstanding. It's one of the best quarters in the last decade, one of the best quarters really in the history of the stock market. I don't know where exactly it ranks, but it's definitely a huge quarter. And a lot of it was tech. So I wanted to give some examples of some tech companies that did well, and we've been focusing on semis a little bit, big data, artificial intelligence. They're all converging and coming together into one bigger theme. But some of the semis is what I'm going to focus on in these next few points. So Micron was up 30.3%. Lam Research was up 31.5%. Nvidia 34.5%. KLA Technologies up 33.4%. This is all in Q1. Those are outstanding bounce backs. And if you recall, Q1 and Q2 are not supposed to be good quarters for these companies, and in fact that is true. They reported pretty weak quarters, but people are starting to look past that and look to the next cycle. And 5G is starting to roll out, so they haven't really seen any benefit from that yet. And it's good to see the market look through some of these weaker results, so it almost doesn't even matter what they report at this time. Q2 is not going to be great for them either, but then it should start to pick up after that, and that's where I think there'll be a little bit more scrutiny on the results. And right now everyone's kind of figured it out, and they're focusing on the next wave, and us included. We think those names I just mentioned are all really good, and there's a bunch more. Other examples in technology, I brought up these two China stocks are a little bit smaller, not as well known. Internet stocks, streaming video, those sorts of things. And it's MOMO Inc. and YY. We've supported these for a while. MOMO was up 61% and YY was up 40.3% respectively in Q1. China's Purchasing Manager Index, the PMI, unexpectedly grew in March. So I think this is a legitimate spillover to the NASDAQ being up about 1% in the pre-market here, the NASDAQ futures being up 1%. Often the news guys, they try and match a news item with the futures being up or down, and often there's not necessarily a link. I think in this case it's true. We've had some pretty weak data coming out of China recently, and there's some positive news here, clearly positive, and the futures are up. So I think in this case you can link the two and say legitimately that was a good piece of economic data from China, which is helping lift the futures. All right, the Final Four is all set for March Madness, and who do we have here? We have in the first final Auburn, a 5 seed versus Virginia, a number 1 seed. Michigan State, who knocked off Duke. I'm sure there's a lot of people upset about that. Versus Texas Tech. So Auburn and Texas Tech are first-time Final Four finalists, and I think it's going to set up for a great Final Four next weekend. Those games go Saturday, and then the final is on Monday. That's your morning brief for April 1st. Let's go find some gems.